Hello, students. Good afternoon to all of you. I hope you will be fine at home. So, in my previous series of lectures, so we have already started the unit number 2 of power system instrumentation, the subject, which is in the short form we always called as PSI. And the code is 311, unit is second. The topic which we are covering here is the transducer. This topic is transducer, but in this lecture I covering the subtopic, that is the type of transducer, one type of transducer, that is. So in the previous lecture of this one means this is the third lecture of this unit number 2, and in the my first lecture of this unit I already told you one thing, that transducer is a very important part of this power system instrumentation. Why is it so? Because transducer, if I'm talking about transducer, so transducer is what is a device which is used to convert form of energy to the another. Now, if I'm talking about, my dear student, electrical engineering, so and this subject comes in electrical engineering, so it means we always talking about which transducer? Electrical transducer, or we can say electric transducer. So if I'm talking about the transducer, so first the transducer are of two type, mainly. Mainly are of two type, primary and secondary. The transducer are primary and secondary. Now if I'm talking about the primary and secondary, so primary need doesn't any external source, secondary need external source. Then on the basis of transduction, capacitive, inductive, electromagnetic, okay, piezoelectric and photovoltaic. Transduction, how we are converting, from which we are converting. Basically, we are converting the part, basically we are converting the non-electrical quantity into electrical quantity. They may be force, displacement, temperature, acoustic, so many things, etc. Now, next we having active and passive. Active directly converting, passive with an intermediate state. Means first, for example, we are converting temperature into mechanical, then mechanical into electrical. So that is the passive. Directly we are converting mechanical into electrical. That is active. Okay. So active transducer and passive transducer. I hope you understand. Now, these are the some transducer which we talked a lot about this thing. Then we having so many characteristics: sensitivity, repeatedness, and we can say repeatability. Okay, and some limits are there. We have to work for it. Okay. Then we talked about LVDT, that is linear variable transducer transformer. We can say. Then RVDT. Basically, in LVDT and RVDT, we basically measure the displacement of the pole with the help of electrical. So basically, we are converting one form of energy to the another form of energy. That is the transducer. But if we talk about the inverse transducer, so inverse transducer is the opposite of it. Means convert electrical quantity into non-electrical quantity, just like a piezoelectric crystal. Now, when we apply force on piezoelectric crystal, it directly convert that force into the current, EMF, voltage. But if we apply voltage on the piezoelectric crystal, then it changes dimension. So that is the inverse transducer. So I hope you understand. Now moving forward, the objective of this lecture means my lecture, which I am delivering here, delivering to you, my dear student. First is the learner means you. So help the student or learner to understand basics of strain gauge transducer. So in my today's lecture, I basically cover the strain gauge transducer. What I want to cover, basically I will cover the strain gauge transducer. Okay. So we'll not talk about the strain gauge transducer. Okay. In this lecture. Secondly, understand the types and working of strain gauge transducer. So first we talk about the basic, what is transducer, where we use is the second part. But how many types we have, how the working take place of this transducer, and with their applications. Okay, so in this basically we are dealing with the one type of transducer, that is the strain gauge transducer. And strain gauge transducer is also a type of transducer we have. So many transducer we have. Okay, so strain gauge is a part of it. One transducer is this. First, previously we talked about the LVDT and then RVDT. Now in this I am talking about strain gauge transducer. So you know about the transducer. Transducer is a element, is a component, is a device, is a particle, or we can say part of a system, which basically used for conversion of one form of energy to the another form. So now, what is strain gauge? A strain gauge is an example of passive transducer. Now, I talked about the active and passive in the starting. Active is basically what? Directly converting. Passive need an intermediate stage. So, a strain gauge is an example of passive transducer that converts the mechanical displacement into a change of resistance. Mechanical displacement means moving, something moving, into change of resistance. Into what? Change of resistance. Now, a strain gauge is a thin wafer-like device that can be attached to a variety of material to measure applied strain. Strain we all know, mechanical strain. So gauging that strain means measuring that strain, we can say. So it is look like this. See here, a thin film, or we can say a strain gauge is a thin wafer-like. It is very a wafer, very thin, like wafer. So it is thin and wafer-like device, not thick, it is very thin, wafer-like device that can be attracted to a variety of materials, that can be attached to a variety of materials, means it can be attached, we can attach to a variety of materials to measure applied strain. If we apply strain on it, though we can measure it. And how it can measure? Convert a mechanical displacement into change of resistance. If resistance is changing, this corresponding we can basically mechanical displacement is there. Okay, so it look like this wafer structure, two ends are there, and it is in the form, it look like a wafer. Okay, now construction, it's having a very simple construction, we can say it looking like this. We having the and loops, these are the some and loops, these are the grids we make. We having the alignment marks, these are the alignment we where we have to apply it, we have to apply it. These are the and loops again. The solder tabs, the soldering we have to do, we can do with the soldering in these two tabs. These two tabs are given, we can solder it. This is basically the active grid length. This is the active grid. This is the grid. So we talk about this to this, not these. These are the loops, but this is the grid basically. So the length of this grid is here. Packing and encapsulation. Packing, we can say covering of it, covering the back piece. One is there, for example, we having a piece and we mount on it. So this is behaving like a backing. So backing and encapsulation, putting into the encapsulation. So backing and encapsulation is there. So we having what? We having the alignment marks here, solder tabs here, and loop is there. Again, and loop whole construction. Then we having some grids, we having what? Grids. So that is the active grid. Then we have the backing and then encapsulation. See here, it is look like here. These are the soldering tabs, loop is there, grid length is there. Okay, then this is the whole, the color of yellow is basically the backing and encapsulation, similar to this thing, this whole thing. So I hope you understand. Now move forward. Now the majority of strain gauges are foil types. It is how much, it's basically of which type? Foil types. It is in the structure of foil types. Available in a wide choice of shapes. Available in a wide choice of, so many choice of shapes are available. So we can identify which type of shape we want. So it is available in a wide choice of shape. For example, I want in a rectangular form, it is available. I want in a square shape, cube shape, we can find it. So wide choice of shapes are available, and sizes also are available. I required of 1 centimeter, I required half centimeter, millimeter, so it is available to suit a variety of applications. So variety of applications are there. So many works are doing on. Okay, are basically so many works are taking place. So wide choice of shapes, sizes to suit a variety of applications. We these these strain gauges are available. They consist of a pattern of resistive foil. Basically, which type of pattern? Resistive foil, which is mounted on a backing material. If I'm talking about the backing material, my dear student, this is the backing material. This one. So this is the backing material. Here it is also shown. This is the backing material. There is this. This is the what? Backing material. Okay. So they consist of a pattern of resistive foil, which is mounted on a backing material. It is mounted on which? A backing material. They operate on a principle that as the foil is subjected to stress, if uh, we apply stress, subjected to stress means foil is there, if subjected to stress, some stress is there, the resistance of the foil changes in a defined way. What will happen? If foil is there, I am applying some stresses, so the resistance of that foil changes in a defined way. Changes in a defined way. It is already defined before, but how it changes? So the foil changes in a defined way. So I hope you understand how it works. So majority of strain gauges are foil types available in a wide choice of shapes, which shape we want, which type we want, okay, and the sizes as per our requirement to suit a variety of applications. They consist of a pattern of resistive foil, which we having the resistive foil, which is mounted on a backing material. In the back, a material is there, for example, and the backing of it. This is the material and the backing. This is the backing. So backing having what? Consist of a pattern of resistive foil. Okay, they operate. How it operate? If we apply stress to that foil, so due to that stress, the foil changes, means the resistance of that foil changes in a defined way. Which way we want? Defined. It is already defined, but how it's, if resistance are changing, so we can say it is behave, it is working. Now see here, we are assuming into the Wheatstone bridge. The strain gauge is connected to the Wheatstone bridge circuit. So I know uh, that, or we can say the V-stone bridge already known by you, that V-stone bridge having the four resistance, means arms, four arms having resistance. We can also represent like P by Q is equals to R upon S. Opposite resistance are equal. So we can say P upon Q is equals to R by S. So we can identify one resistance if three resistance are already given in that. So that is the Wheatstone bridge. Wheatstone was the physicist. So they make a bridge of four arms. They make a bridge of four arms. In that four arms, basically what we have four resistance connected. So in this, the strain gauge is connected. The working of this what? Basically we are resembling into or connecting it into the Wheatstone bridge. So the strain gauge is connected into a Wheatstone bridge circuit. The change in resistance is proportional to the applied strain. The change in resistance is proportional to the applied strain. Here, see, R2, R3, R2. Here we having. Then we having, these are the resistances connected to the gauge, that is strain gauge. Okay. So strain gauge is connected to a Wheatstone bridge. It is, now this is the strain gauge which is connected to the Wheatstone bridge. Okay. The change in resistance is proportional to the applied strain. Now, how much basic we can say the, in how much quantity we are applying a strain, that is proportional to the resistance. And if it is proportional to the resistance means how, for example, I am applying some strain, okay, and that strain is proportional to the change in resistance, so it's measured by Wheatstone gauge. So we can basically measure with the help of Wheatstone gauge. So I think so, have you understand by this basically whole concept of strain gauge? Okay. So in this, basically if we are applying a strain, if we having some strain on it, that gauge, that strain gauge, if I am applying some strain, so what will happen, that strain basically is applied is proportional to the change of resistance, okay, in the Wheatstone gauge. So if I am applying strain on it, then there will be some changes, the resistance will changes due to that strain. So I hope you understand the working. Okay, now move forward. Now the sensitivity of a strain gauge is described in terms of characteristics. Now, as I earlier told you one thing, that we all the instrument or equipment have sensitiveness. We can say the word sensitivity, and the sensitivity is basically came from what? The sensitive or sensitiveness, basically. Now the sensitivity of strain gauge is described in terms of a characteristic. In terms of what, my dear student? In terms of characteristic. So called the gauge factor. It is always called as what? Gauge factor. Okay, what is it? A gauge factor. So defined as a unit change in resistance per unit change in length. As defined as the unit changes in resistance per unit change in length, or K is equals to del I R by R, del L by L. You can say in the length. Changing in the length means del L, and changing in the resistance means del R. So K is equals to what? Del R by R upon del L by L. Okay, now gauge factor is related to Poisson's ratio. There is some Poisson ratio mu by K is equals to 1 plus 2 mu, and K is equals to gauge factor, and R is equals to gauge wire resistance. Now del R is what? Del R is change in wire resistance. So here we having the del R. See, this is the del R. We having another one. We having the resistance. So del R is change in wire resistance. L is what? L is the length of gauge wire in unstressed condition. Length of the gauge wire is unstressed condition. That is del I. Del I is change in length in straight condition. That is del L. L we having the length, and del L is basically the change in length in stressed condition. Stress condition if we have, so we can write what? We can write the K is equals to del R by R upon del L by L, and where we also called as, it is represented by K is equals to 1 plus 2 mu if talking about the Poisson's ratio. So mu will by 1 plus 2 mu. Now del R is what? Change in wire resistance, and del L is basically the length change in the strength condition. Now one thing is there, if I am pushing like this, now its length is changing. Wire is, for example, like this. If I am applying some force or I am applying some stresses, so it move like this, so some length will change. Okay, I hope you understand. Now move forward. Now types. Now working you have understand. I think so you have understood about the working. Before the water strain gauge, how we can make it, different sizes, different shapes. Okay, we have available with this. Okay, grid is there, loop is there. Okay, backing is very important, in which backing we having some resistance point that will vary. So on the basis of principle of working, we having three types: mechanical, electrical, and piezoelectric. Now if I'm basically dividing on the mounting, how we are mounting, how we are placing, basically mount on a thing. So we having two types: bonded strain gauge, another is unbonded strain gauge. So on the basis of principle, mechanical is there, some mechanical, electrical is there. Electrical is always there. Why? Because we are studying this transducer. So that is the electrical transducer, but that is of best passive type. So electrical is there, piezoelectric also there. And if I'm talking about the mounting, based on mounting, we have a bonded strain gauge and unbounded strain gauge. Bonded strain gauge, another one is the unbonded strain gauge. Now, taking one by one first. Now, mechanical strain gauge, it look like this. Here we have some system. It is looking like this. I took a picture of that one. So, it is made up of two separate plastic layers. It is made up of what? Two separate plastic layers, one and two separate plastic layers. The bottom layer has ruled scale. The bottom layer having what? A ruled scale on it, and the top layer has a red arrow. Top is ruled scale in the basically bottom layer, and the top layer having what? Red arrow or pointer, a red or pointer which moves. Okay, one layer is glued to one side of the crack, one is basically glued on the one side of the crack, and one layer to the other, one layer with the two others. Okay, as the crack opens, crack is there, if it opens, the layer slide very slowly, the layer slide very slowly. Okay, moving past one another, and the pointer moves over the scale, points another past one another, basically very slowly past one another, and the pointer moves over the scale. What happens? Scale is there, now pointer moves. One is attached with this, then another one attached with this, glued with another side. Okay, now crack is open. For example, we're having a crack. If it is opens like this, so what will happen? The layer slides very slowly. Layer sliding very slowly, moving past one another, and the pointer moves over the scale. The red crosshairs move on the scale as the crack widens. Now the red crosshair moves over the scale as cracks widen. If crack is widen like this, okay, then crosshair moves on the scale. So it working what? It is a mechanical strain gauge. I hope you understand. Now move forward. That is this electrical strain gauge. That is what it is look like this. This is a picture of that strain gauge, image of that strain gauge. Okay, this is the image of strain gauge. In the previous one, that is the mechanical strain gauge. In this mechanical strain gauge, we have in two layers. One is attached with the crack. We can say ruler scale, ruled scale, and top layer having the red arrow pointer. One layer is glued to the one side of the crack, and one layer is to the another. One is there, another is there. As the crack opens, the layer slightly, very slowly, past one another, and the pointer moves over the scale. Okay, and the red crosshair moves on the scale as the crack widens. If the cracks is widened, basically crack widens, crack moving. Okay, as the cracks widen, so what happens? Crosshairs move and the pointer move. Crosshairs move and the pointer moves. It gives you the mechanical stress basically. Now next, electrical strain gauge. So electrical strain gauge is what? When an electrical wire is stretched, one wire is there, we are stretching. Okay, we are stretching within the limits of its elasticity. Now, if I'm talking about the spring, so spring having some tension. So if I move with their tension, okay, so like this, when electrical wire is stretched within the limits of its elasticity. For example, I have to stretching. I'm stretching one wire, but how? Which limit I have to work? Limit of its elasticity. The elasticityness which already having in the wire, so I can stretch with its limit of its elasticity, such it does not break. Means does not break. If I push like stretch like this, and if it break, no work will take place. So I have to stretch up to there its elasticity, or permanently deform means stretching up to the its elasticity, not more than it. It will become narrower and longer, narrower and longer. Change that increase in its electrical resistance end to end. What happens? R is equals to rho L by A. R is equals to rho L by A, my dear student. Okay, resistivity into length by area. So if I am increasing or changing the length, so resistance will change or not. So its electrical resistance end to end changes or increases basically. So we having a relation. So similar to that one, strain can be inferred by measuring change in the resistance. So strain can be inferred by measuring the change in resistance. So it look like this. Two things are there. That is the strain gauge. Basically, the which type of strain gauge we have? Having the electrical strain gauge is there. Now electrical strain gauge. Previously was mechanical strain gauge. Okay, and how can we form a strain gauge? Different shapes, different sizes are available in the market, wide ranges are available. We having what? Having some labels, loop, then we having some solder points. Okay, then we in the back, basically in the backing system, we having this resistance film, we can see, and it is just like a wafer. Okay, now moving forward, piezo's electric strain gauge. So I'm giving some brief of it. Why? Because if anyone asks you like how many types of strain gauges are available, so we having different types of strain gauge are available in the market. Now, piezoelectric generate electric voltage when strain is applied over it. Now, as I earlier told you, the piezoelectric crystals are available in the market. So if I apply force on it, if I push it, okay, if I push it, so what will happen when strain is applied over it? If I'm applying some strain on it, so strain can be calculated from voltage. What will happen? Piezoelectric crystals are available in the market. This is a, you can directly call with the talk to the shopkeeper and ask them give me the piezoelectric crystal, but they will ask how much voltage you have to generate. So depend on that conditions. But what is piezoelectric crystal basically? So in piezoelectric strain gauge, generate electric voltage or electrical voltage when we applied strain on it. What we are applying? We are applying the strain on it, and strain can be calculated from voltage. Strain, how we calculate? Can we calculate? So strain can be calculated from voltage. Piezoelectric strain gauge are the most sensitive and reliable devices. These are the devices which is very reliable and most sensitive. Sensitive means if I am changing some input, it will gives you the output related to the input. So what I want to say you here, the piezoelectric crystals are available. So mechanical strain gauge, two layers are there, one glued with the another one with the crack. We can say it measure the crack. One having the pointer, one is another layer connected to the another layer. If it widens into the pointer moves. If I'm talking about this electric strain gauge, my dear student, so in the electric strain gauge, if we stretch the wire up to their elasticity, now its resistance changes. That is simple. So that is what? That is your electric strain gauge. Okay. Now, piezoelectric generate what? Piezoelectric crystal basically is as a form of piezoelectric strain gauge. Piezoelectric strain gauge is what basically? Piezoelectric strain gauge is very we can say sensitive and reliable. How it is very sensitive and reliable? It is very sensitive and reliable. How it is very sensitive and reliable, my dear student? That we can change the output corresponding to its input. And if we apply stress on it, now it generates the voltage. So how much the strain we applied on it, okay, will give you the output voltage. So strain applying, getting the output voltage are basically the proportion. We can calculate, and it is very reliable and sensitive. So it is looking like this, desolar. Okay. Now next, bonded strain gauge. What is it? Bonded strain gauge. So the bonded strain gauge element is basically consisting of metallic wire. I'm talking about the gauge here. So in bonded strain gauge element consisting of metallic wire, it consists of what? Metallic wire. Each foil, etched foil, vacuum deposit foil, film, or semiconductor bar is cemented to strained surface. Basically, so many things are there. Bonding are there. The word bonded strain gauge basically coming from the bond. Bonding. So a bonded strain gauge element consisting of what? A metallic wire, etched foil, one foil is there, vacuum deposited film, or semiconductor bar is cemented to the strained surface. It's look like this strained surface. A felt is there, paper, then we having the wire grid, we having the leads. Okay. So what will happen? We having in this, we having what, my dear student? Consisting of metallic wire, a etched foil, okay, vacuum deposited film, some film which having the vacuum deposited, okay, and or semiconductor bar is cemented to the strained surface. The semiconductor bar is cemented to the strained surface. Okay, it look like this. See, leads are there, wire grid are there, grid of wire is there, loops are there, felt is there, paper is there, and this is yellow shape is basically the resistance mounting. Back is with the resistance mounting as I earlier told you. Now, unbonded strain gauge. The previous one was the bonded. Second one, this one is what? Unbonded strain gauge. So if I'm talking about the unbonded strain gauge, my dear student, so unbonded, there means there is no bonding. Okay, there will be no bonding, and we don't find any kind of bonding. In the previous there was a bonding, but in this there is no bonding. So the unbonded strain gauge consists of a wire. The unbonded strain gauge consists of a wire. One wire is there, stretched between 2 points in an insulating medium. We having some insulating medium and stretched between 2 points in an insulating medium, such as air. One end of the wire is fixed and other end is attached to the movable movement or element. Now, in this unbonded strain gauge, basically we having no bonding, you can say, of a wire stretch. Wire we are stretching. Okay, stretching the wire between 2 points in an insulating medium. One insulating medium here, we are stretching the wire such as air. Air is an insulating material. Now I'm stretching the wire like this. Now one end of the wire is fixed. One is fixed, another one is basically attached to the movable element. It is moving. One is here, one is the moving. Okay, so it is moving element. So that is what unbonded string. Now see here, it look like this. Unbonded strain gauge, we having what? This is the construction, we having the wire. This is, we can say what? The fixed point, and this is the movable contact. So this is the insulated pin we are having. So unbonded, we are pushing, stressing that wire towards here. So force are applying, filling Q is there and filling P. So that is the unbonded strain gauge. I hope you understand. Now moving forward, that is foil strain gauge. A simple figure for you, basically a picture for you to identify or understand how it works. Basically, how we call it is a foil strain gauge. A foil strain gauge is basically having the foil, having the foil strain gauge. Now, now the foil strain gauge has metal foil photo. It look like what? A metal foil photo. The foil strain gauge has a metal foil photo. It will look like this. See, this is a metal showing here. Foil photo. Wires are basically soldered with it. That is a foil, and that is a metal foil photo. Etched in a grid pattern. Etched in a which pattern? Grid. Etched in a grid pattern. This is a grid pattern on the electric insulator. On which, having some insulator, we are moving, placing on it like this. Okay. Okay. Of the thin resin and gauge lead edge attached. Thin resin is there and the gauge leads attached. Which type of leads? Gauge leads attached. We have it. Thin resin is there and the gauge leads attached. So it is looking like this. See, film is there and the insulating material is there. We having, and we having the attached leads are there. Okay. I hope you understand. Now next, semiconductor strain gauge. If I'm talking about the, my dear student, semiconductor strain gauge. Now, if I'm talking about the semiconductor strain gauge, so we having, what is semiconductor? Semiconductor are the basically elements which sometimes behave like a insulator and sometimes behaves like a conductor. That is why it is called a half conductor or semiconductor. So we can say resistance is between, lies between, in a property of semiconductor material. The resistance lie between 0 to infinity, minimum to max. Okay, so semiconductor we can make with the N or which type? P type. N and P type. Okay, so holes are majority in the P and electrons are in the majority in N. So for measurement of small strain, semiconductor strain gauges, so called piezoresistors, what we called as piezoresistors, are often preferred over foil gauges. It is often preferred over foil gauges. Instead of foil gauges, what we are using right nowadays, semiconductor strain gauge. Now it is look like this. A simple picture given to you. Semiconductor, okay, are often preferred over foil gauges. So semiconductor strain gauge depend on the piezoresistive effect. Which effect, my dear students? Piezoresistive effects of silicon or germanium. Now, if I want to make semiconductor, so extrinsic and intrinsic, two types of semiconductors are there, impurities are there. Okay, so we can make it semiconductor P type or N type. So we use what? The base element is, the base material is silicon or germanium. So we use as per their threshold voltage and availability. So the piezoresistive effect of silicon or germanium we use in it, that is the semiconductor strain gauge. Okay, and measure the change in resistance with stress as opposed to the strain. And how it basically measure change in resistance with stress opposed to the strain. I'm having the basically what strain is there. So stress with resistance as opposed to the strain, and it is preferred over what? Foil gauges. We having some foil gauges are available, so it is preferred over the foil gauges. Okay, so it is good strain gauge we can say. Now the applications. These are the some basically the strain gauge transducer. So if I am talking about the application, my dear student, residual stress. If I am working for the residual stress, we can use it. Vibration measurement. If I want to measure some vibration in a system, I want to measure some basically what we can say uh, vibration is there. If I want to measure, so I can use this strain gauge transducer. If I want to measure the torque, so if I want to measure the torque, we can measure the motor and generator also, because torque is there and speed is there. Speed is there. So if I want to measure the speed, I can easily measure it. Torque, I can also measure it. So residual strength, we can easily measure it. Vibration measurement is also there. We can measure the vibration. So if vibration required in any application, we use this strain gauge transducer. If linear displacement is there, we can use LVDT. Okay, as per their name. Now, residual stress is there, so we have to do residual stress. Vibration measurement is also there. Torque measurement is also there. In the torque measurement, we can do it. Banding and deflection. If there will be some banding and there will be some deflection, so if I want to measure this banding or deflection, I have to use this strain gauge. I have to use what my dear student? I have to use strain gauge transducer. Compression and tension measurement. Here we having the compression and tension. So if I want to measure the compression and tension, we can use this strain gauge. Or obviously, if I want to measure the strain, so we use what? The strain gauge transducer, my dear student. So what is strain gauge? I'm repeating this thing again. Very simple. Now, strain gauge is an example of what? Passive transducer. It is what basically the passive transducer and converts a mechanical displacement into change of resistance. I'm applying some displacement, the change of resistance we'll find. So a strain gauge is what? It is basically a wafer-like device. See here. It is a very simple wafer-like device. Variety of material attached. So applied strain, we can measure it. Due to this, the resistance can be measured. Okay. Now it look like this. Construction is very simple. And loops, grid, alignment marks, and loops are there. Solder tabs are there. Encapsulation backing. So grid length, active grid length, we can also identify. The grid is very small. Loop is higher. So loop is higher and grid is very small, in which we applied something. Basically, we having some particles or the part in it. So solder tabs are there available. Now available are foil types, very small, basically very thin structure we have, and in the variety of the applications, depend on the variety of applications. So if we want 1 millimeter, it is available. If we want 1 centimeter, it is available in the market. 1 meter, again big size. So depend on the size, depend on the variety of applications, the availability of strain gauge we have, and what the principle on which it works. Foil is subjected to stress. If I'm foil we have, if I'm subjected to some stress on it, though what happened, the resistance of foil changes in a defined the way which we have already defined, that how if I stress it, though it will move like this, so how much resistance is vary. So we can identify with this strain gauge. Working, it is very simple. We can measure it with the Wheatstone bridge system. We connected into the Wheatstone bridge, and as we all know, in Wheatstone bridge what we have, we having basically the know or basically already known resistance and unknown resistance. So one unknown resistance are there and three known resistance. So we having the three resistance and one we having connected with the strain gauge. So we can measure with the strain gauge how much the resistance value we have, because we want to measure the resistance. So the best or easy method is four arm structure, that is Wheatstone bridge. Through this we can measure the resistance. Now the simple we can say, we use the gauge factor, that is del R by I upon del L by L. We sometimes we use E also with this to identify, and the Poisson ratio given by K is equals to 1 plus 2 mu, and R is the resistance changes in the wire, and L is the length. If length is changing, then resistance is also changing. Okay. Now, on the basis of working, or basically we having the types. So principle of working. So mechanical is there, electrical is there, piezoelectric is there, easily available, bonded or unbonded strain gauge. Bonded and unbonded strain gauge we have. So mechanical strain gauge, as I earlier told you, it look like this. Okay. In this we having two layers, one having the scale, one other one having the pointer, moves on it, so resistance will vary. Okay. When crack widens, basically we having the crack is there. If crack widens, we can easily measure it. Okay. So that is what, that is your mechanical strain gauge. Okay. Then we having this electrical strain gauge. Now in this electrical strain gauge, we can easily identify by this. If having a wire, for example, I having a wire, if I've stressed it with up to their elasticity, but how much it can be stressed. If I do up to their elasticity, more than its elasticity, what will happen? It break down. It break down and permanently deform. Break down or permanently deform. So I have to do what, and you also have to do what? Stress up to their elasticity. Okay, stress it up to their elasticity. We'll get what happened. R is equals to rho by A. If the length is changing, R is changing. If area is changing, R is changing. If resistivity is changing, R is changing. So very simple phenomena I am using. So we can measure the change in resistance here like this. It look like this, and very easily we can measure the resistance. Now piezoelectric uh, strain gauge. It is very easy, easily available in the market. We can say we can also use for the alternative source of energy. We can generate electricity with it. How? If we apply stress on a piezoelectric crystal, it directly gives you the voltage. It directly generate voltage for you. So we can create or generate a voltage with the help of this piezoelectric strain gauge applied on it. Okay. Next, we having the bonded strain gauge. So some bonding is there, wire is there, H foil is there, vacuum deposit foil is there, semiconductor bar is cemented to strained surface. The strained surface is already is there in the basically the construction. So what we have to do, metallic wire we having, H foil is because we have the foil shape, vacuum deposited foil film is there, semiconductor bar is cemented to the strained surface. Okay. Now unbonding. In unbonding strain gauge is very simple. We having the insulating path. We having insulating the path which is made up of, or which is make up of, which is basically formed with the insulating material. So we having the wire. So one is fixed, another one is moving. So if I stress the wire, what will happen? The resistance will vary. So it is very easy to identify the resistance with the mechanical strain or stress. So one is attached, another one is the movable, attached to the movable element, that is moving part. Now foil strain gauge, we having a very foil structure, foil etched in a grid pattern, electric insulator of thin resin, and gauge leads attached in this. We have it. It is look like this, very simple. Semiconductor strain gauge, as I earlier told you, we use very in wide range. We use this semiconductor strain gauge. We use what? We use very wide range of semiconductor because it is having some advantages compared to the previous foil type strain gauge. So we can use semiconductor strain gauge, and we are now using semiconductor strain gauge instead of the foil gauges. This is the advanced technology because in electronics we are moving towards, we using, instead of rotating part we are using non-rotating, means some solid state component. These are electronic components made up of semiconductor materials. So they give you the better efficiency compared to the electromagnetic or rotating part. Okay. Then the applications. So we having so many types. Working you understand, principle you understand, I think so, I hope so, this thing. Types, so many types are there: electric, mechanical, piezoelectric, unbonded, bonded, semiconductor, foil type. So these are all types. And if I'm talking about the applications, so stress is there, vibration we can measure with the help of this, torque we can also measure, bending and deflection also can be measured, we can also measure with the help of this strain gauge. So applications are there. Compression and tension measurement also done, can be done with the help of this. And obviously, as name suggested, strain measurement. Okay. So this is all about the strain gauge. Now, these are some multiple choice questions related to this. The dash of a strain gauge varies with applied force. Obviously, what? Resistance. Strain gauge can be used to pick up expansion, contraction, both of these, none of these. So you have to think. The bonding element in a strain gauge must possess zero insulation resistance, low insulation resistance, high insulation resistance, any of the above. The formula for the gauge factor is, okay, we having this, we can identify this thing. Gauge factor of a thick film resistor is thick film, not thin. To detect very small changes in resistance, gauges are configured with, I already told you in my lecture, Keystone Bridge or Maxwell Bridge, Hay Bridge or Anderson Bridge. So you can easily identify which of the following is a practical application of strain gauge. Okay, so we can say these are all. Cable of civil bridges, we have railway engineering we can use, aerospace we can also use. So out of these. Now, the previous lecture I basically asked you about the LVDT. So LVDT is there. Now strain gauge is what? Active device and converts mechanical displacement into change of resistance. Passive device and converts electrical displacement into a change of resistance. Passive device and convert mechanical displacement into change of resistance. Electrical and mechanical both are there. Active device and convert electrical displacement into change of resistance. So in my introduction part of this strain gauge, I already told you about this. Okay. Now mechanical transducer generate. Obviously this type of thing. So I hope you understand. Now these are some reference books available, so you can just go through it. These are some references and some part. I also took some part from this. These references, good books are available. Now, thank you from my side. I hope you understand a lot through my lecture, through my this lecture. And if you have any query, you can ask me. So I hope you understand. Thank you from my side. Thank you for understanding, and I hope you understand about this, the strain gauge. About what? About the strain gauge. Thank you. Thank you, student, for listening.